Calgary Police Service has charged a man in connection with a serious assault that occurred yesterday afternoon in the community of Coral Springs. At approximately 4:30 p.m. on Thursday, November 17, 2016, we were called to the 100 block of Coral Springs Close Northeast for reports of a disturbance. Once on scene, witnesses told our officers a man armed with a weapon and women were inside the home. Officers entered the home and found a woman with significant injuries. She was transported to hospital in life-threatening condition, but her condition has since been upgraded to serious but stable. We believe that the suspect was a prior business acquaintance of a man who lives in the same home as the victim, and the victim and the suspect knew each other. The attack at this point is not believed to be domestic in nature, but the suspect's motivation for the attack is still unknown. Also present in the home immediately prior to the attack was the victim's 10-year-old daughter, who was able to run to the neighbor's house to call for help. She was not injured during the incident. Nurdin Dosa, 68, of Calgary, is charged with 1 count of aggravated assault in connection with the incident. The investigation is ongoing, and additional charges are likely. His next scheduled court appearance is Monday, November 21st, 2016. Anyone with information of this incident is asked to call the Calgary Police Service non-emergency line or Crime Stoppers anonymously. And I'll take any of your questions.
I mean, what do you make of this little girl's actions in this chaotic episode?
From when talking to the investigators at the very beginning, she was heroic. She was able to get out of the house, run to a neighbor, and call for help. And she was able to work with our investigators after the fact as well. She's now going to be in contact with the Child Advocacy Center, who are going to work to get the rest of the story from her and give her all the resources and support that she needs. But she's a very courageous young woman.
What did officers see when they came into the house? We heard some reports of what they saw. Like, this was an active scene when they walked in.
This was an active scene when they walked in. They were able to gain entry on their own. How they did that, I'm not exactly sure at this point. But they did come into contact with the offender who was actively attacking the female at the time, and were able to take him into custody and rescue the female without further incident.
Can you talk to us a little bit about, we know she was being stabbed, and extent of her, what type of injuries?
She has extensive injuries. I don't know all of them. I know she has extensive injuries to her face and to her neck.
Do you know the weapon used?
I believe the weapon was a knife.
How would you describe their relationship?
I'm not entirely sure of their relationship at this point. As far as I know, they were business acquaintances with the husband that lives in the home. I'm not sure the extent of knowledge that the female had, but there was no sign of forced entry at that point. So that's something we're going to look into once we're actually able to talk to the victim and once she's awake and able to speak with us.
What's the husband?
Wasn't the intended target?
I have no idea if she was the intended target or not.
Was the husband home at the time of the incident?
No.
Is it just the three who live there? The husband, the wife, and the 10-year-old?
As far as the information I have, yes, it's just the 3 individuals who live there.
And even though she wasn't injured, can you say at this point if there was any risk to the child at all?
I can't say at this point. Obviously, if somebody is inside your house with a knife, that's going to pose a risk to a child. But as far as a child being a target of anything, I have no information for that.
Were any of the people involved known to police?
I'm not aware of that at this time.
Any idea how long he was actually inside the house?
Not sure at that point. There was a significant period of time, but whether we're talking hours or under an hour, I can't say at this point. We'd have to wait till we speak to not only the 10-year-old with the proper resources available to us and talk to the victim to determine that.
Okay, so how much did the 10-year-old see?
That I'm not sure as well. Obviously, the 10-year-old did see portions, enough to be able to get away and call for help, but I can't say exactly what she saw at this point.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it seem more dramatic than it is, but is it likely, did this daughter save her mom's life by running out and calling 911? Did police get there just in time? How badly was this woman hurt?
She was badly injured. Like I said, she was transported in life-threatening condition to Foothills Hospital with extensive injuries. And you can gather anytime injuries are to the neck and to the face, those can be quite significant and life-threatening. Absolutely, she saved her mother's life by being able to get outside the address and get to a neighbor who was able to contact police. So yeah, if we hadn't got there, who knows what could have happened. So that's a very brave young woman.
Do you know why he wasn't charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault.
Attempted murder is going to look a lot towards the motivation. And at this point, we don't know the motivation, so we'll have to interview her and interview the girl to try and determine that. But that is a charge we could likely lay if we get the evidence for it.
Right. Like, I know we don't know the motive, but did he go there with some willful intent? Like, did he arrive there with the weapons? Like, what, I mean...
I can't say at this point. I'm not exactly sure whether he arrived there with the weapons or not, or what his intent would be. He didn't provide us any intent at this point. So.
Do you know if drugs or alcohol were involved?
I don't believe so, no.
Do we have any, can you elaborate at all on, it's expected that more charges are going to be coming, can you elaborate on what those charges may be?
Well, as your colleague here stated, that attempted murder is something that could be laid, but that's all going to depend on the motive. And we're going to have to, a lot of this is going to be dependent on the victim. Obviously, we have what the officers saw when they entered, but there's still a lot of interviews that have to be done. A lot of investigation has to be done to determine what exactly occurred prior to the attack. And that's going to lead us to more information for charges.
When we say business associate, do we know anything in terms of?
I don't know anything in terms of what the business was, whether it ended amicably or anything like that nature.
Did the suspect have any injuries?
Not that I'm aware of, no. He was transported to West Winds directly, so nothing that would have required any type of medical treatment.
What's the suspect's citizenship status?
I'm not aware, I'm not sure.